You all, we are not licensed professionals. We are just here on this roller coaster called life, trying to be better friends to one another, trying to be better human beings on this planet. If you're tuning in, we are not opting out of therapy. We are not advocating that you listen to us and not see someone who is licensed and trained to help you with day-to-day life on how to cope and deal. So we advocate for therapy a lot here. We believe that everyone has something to talk to somebody about. So, just like to make that disclaimer that we're just here giving our opinions and having discussions week by week. And we're hoping that, maybe you can find something useful, or if at least find a little humor in this terrible, terrible rock we call the world.
In other words, if you listen to our advice and you get popped in the mouth, don't at us.
Yeah, don't at me because you may get popped in the mouth again. Welcome back to another Friendship University episode. The podcast where we try to be a little less trash in hopes that it will encourage you to also be a little less trash. I am joined by our just graciously tall.
Really?
I was going to say I felt like that was going to be a little insulting. I was going to say overbearing, but overbearing in the sense of like you overtower.
I don't like none of what you're saying. I don't like anything. I don't like that intro at all. I don't like none of what you just put on me.
I like that you're tall.
Overbearing, tall. I don't like it. But yes, you were joined by the one, the only, myself.
I can give you another. Okay,
Mickey.
We could do it again.
I just think we're running out of adjectives, so we need to have new intros.
There's never gonna be there are thousands of adjectives in the world. I just gotta think of it.
We can pull a read. I'm
Pink
Pantheress, and
I don't want to get sued, so I won't be taking anyone's treatments. We're gonna do our own dockets in this podcast, even though some of the topics may spoil over because everybody talks about pop culture. In other news, it's Mean Girls Day. Happy Mean Girls Day. I don't know if that means anything to you, but
on Wednesdays, even though it's Tuesday, we wear pink.
We wear pink, but today's October 3rd, where Lindsay Lohan's character says, I don't know the man's name, the real name, but his character's
Aaron.
Logan. Is his name Aaron in real life? Yes.
Well, not in real life. That's his name in that movie.
He says, I think it's Logan, but
it's Aaron.
Well, maybe his real name's Logan. I don't know, but she says, what did she say? She says, on this day, Aaron asked me what day it is, and she says it's October 3rd.
And that's it.
So
happy Mean Girls Day.
Happy Mean Girls Day to everyone out there, if that means something to you. How are you doing this week?
I'm bored.
Wow.
So currently I'm between jobs, which is, not a big deal, honestly. I'm not really stressed about it, but it made me realize that I don't really have like a life outside of working sometimes, where like I just be sitting at the house chilling. Circumstantially, maybe that's because where I'm located right now. There's just like not a bunch of stuff to do. But even if I was still out in this area, I still wouldn't even know what to like really go do. Go sit at a park, go eat some food or something like that. So, I'm doing good though. I'm just resting, relaxing. Like I said, between 2 jobs right now, but again, not really stressing it too much. Been playing, as people probably know, a lot of Baldur's Gate. Yes, I know. I've talked about it for the past 5 freaking weeks, and I will continue talking about it for the next 5 weeks after this.
I don't know how long it'll take to
forever.
Get to the end, but
this game has so much to it that I probably could replay it like 16 times and probably have a different experience each time.
That's
so
fair.
Been playing a lot of that. Let me see here. Let me pull up my PlayStation app and see how many hours I've logged, because I'm curious what I am at this point. But that's going to change soon. Spider-Man 2 comes out in... Sorry, I was looking at my PlayStation app. Spider-Man 2 comes out on the 20th, so pretty excited for that. And outside of that, like I said, just been chilling, taking it easy. This past weekend, me and my boo went on a hike. We went to Tallulah Gorge, which, side note, bamboozled myself. Because the first time I went to Tallulah Gorge, I didn't get to get the real experience. The first time I went, it was during the last full solar eclipse that took place over Georgia. And like if you were like a little bit further south, like Atlanta, that's not South Georgia, obviously, but it's further south than North Georgia, obviously. It wasn't like a full solar eclipse, and I wanted the full experience. So, me and my partner at the time, we had drove up to Tallulah Gorge, which is this, I was going to say natural, but I don't know if it's actually natural because there is a dam up there, which is obviously man-made. So, I don't really know the history behind this little area, but I digress. Look it up. We went up there, and I didn't get to get the full experience of it because I'm definitely allergic to peanut butter. Mm-hmm. Like, I will die. And my partner at the time gave me a peanut butter, like, protein bar or whatever. I wasn't thinking twice about it. We were just walking on the hike, and I was like, can you just hand me one of the bars? I didn't realize he even got peanut butter bars. So he just pulled one out of his backpack, opened the wrapper, and gave it to me. And I didn't sniff it. I just put it in my mouth and ate it. And I was just like, wait a second, hold on. So
red flags.
My actual alt. And then, so I didn't get the full experience last time because I had to be rushed off the mountain, basically, or whatever you want to call it.
So you're recycling dates.
Right. So, wait, not right, no. Not right.
You didn't get the full it don't count. I
didn't get the full experience. So went back this past weekend, minus the peanut butter, minus the solar eclipse as well.
Minus the alt.
It was a good time. I just wasn't prepared for the amount of stairs that
there are a lot.
Were involved. I just didn't expect it. I was like, okay, online, because I looked up like hikes in Georgia, and I had just picked the Tallulah Gorge. So I was like, oh yeah, I remember I went there, and like I didn't get a chance to really like enjoy it because I was dying. And I was like, oh yeah, it's a 3 mile trail. I'm like, oh, that's 3 miles. That's not bad. That's a quick little leisurely stroll, do a hike, come back, relax, whatever. No, it's 3 miles of stairs.
They be getting you. That's why you have to look at the height scale. It's gonna be like it'll be like moderate average or intense because it'll get you. Like I said, that hike I did last year for my birthday, steady incline. Like y'all be out here doing the 30, 60, 20, whatever that is. It's 60, 80, 120, whatever. I mean, today's National Boyfriend Day, so shout out to Boo.
Is it?
It is. I think I read it was maybe it was yesterday. I think it's National Boyfriend Day. I would like to take a second to have my Boo say hello.
Is that me?
No. There's no one there.
Oh.
Thank you, Boo, for shouting out all of our fans. Boo. Happy National Boyfriend Day to you. I love you so much.
Shout out to the Boos out there.
So you went on the hike.
Yes, went on the hike. That was a good time. And then came back and raced some go-karts and played some games and stuff. So pretty good weekend with the Boo, seeing how I'm now, I guess, in a relationship or whatever. And then outside of that, like I said, just been chilling, taking it easy. There's another actually update. Forgot about this. Loki's cousin is visiting he's been here for 2 weeks now, but he'll be here for like a month and a half, I think. Little dog, like smaller than Loki.
Wow.
He's older than he's like, I don't know, probably like 10 years older than Loki is, honestly, but that's been an experience. At first Loki was not feeling it. He was like, who is this freeloader? Why is he here? Don't like it.
This is my
house. So he was like hissing and like avoiding him and all that stuff, but now they're best friends. I didn't do anything special. I just kind of like let them do their own thing, but which I know, like, if anyone here listens who was actually a veterinarian probably tell me that was like not a good idea, and I should have like slowly introduce them and blah blah blah. But I was like, if I get whatever, it's fine. Just open up the door, see what happens.
Loki will run off though if he doesn't want to be around you. So
Loki will run off, and Cairo's not an aggressive dog. He's a small little, spoiled baby dog. Like I said, he's small. He's smaller than Loki.
It's like a toy poodle or something.
He's a Yorkie, but like a smaller Yorkie. So he's small. Like I said, he's smaller than Loki. So not really putting him much of a fight. So now they're chill. They both follow me around like shadows every day. I walk downstairs, they're both right behind me, and it's like they're like begrudging friends. It's like they don't really play with each other per se, but they'll exist in the same room and like they'll be close enough to each other where like it's not a problem, but like they don't really like love each other. Like
it's like
they're like both my kids, and they're just like, eh. I will say Loki does sometimes like slap him, like not with his claws, but he will like hit Cairo across the head.
Cats' heads when they do that, because I see videos and it seemingly they're just chilling, like all the pets are just
all of a sudden
smack,
back.
5 fingers to the face or paws to the face.
Truly,
I don't know.
But yeah, I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I am good. It's been, a cool, smooth 7 days, I guess. Or, I don't know, longer. Maybe it's been 7 days, I think, since I saw you. Or maybe not. I can't remember.
Who knows?
Anywho, had a good weekend. Got some things done. Hung out with some people I haven't seen in a while. So, just working and planning some upcoming trips that I have to take and different things like that, and trying to just like I be trying to put us on TikTok. I'm gonna get a setup though. I think I found a setup, like a video recording setup that I want us to do, that I'm gonna send you, that I think will work, and then that can be like our TikTok content or whatever, and maybe like YouTube or whatever, because we have been talking about doing video recording for quite some time. It's just a lot more than you think goes into it. So kudos to all the people who do the recording. A lot of those people do have teams who help them do that video recording, but shout out to you all who are just a team of 2 to 3 and you are chugging along like,
making a podcast isn't easy.
It's not most. They make it seem simple when you are online and you see everybody with the $400 microphone and they have 1 cent of knowledge about what they're talking about. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that goes on the back end. So kudos to everybody out there still chasing it. We're gonna keep doing this for as long as possible. I believe in the vision. I believe Mickey believes in the vision. So we're gonna be here, and y'all just better hop on the train now, because I just really feel like when the speed picks up and the train gets full, don't expect us to slow down and pick you up. We're going to pass right by you like Marta.
Oh, just like Marta.
Anywho, so we're going to hop into what's going on. You were talking about a little topic earlier that I found interesting as well, with the Waffle House.
Shout out to the Waffle House. We stand with the Waffle House.
Pay the people what they want, okay? Because
fill the people in, Kristen. What's going on?
First of all, I'm gonna start off by saying I said this a while ago when the actor strike and the writer strike and everything was going on. I feel like everybody should be striking right now.
Everybody.
Teachers, nurses, restaurant workers, laborers, factory workers, Waffle House especially should be working. So I want to say it started here in Atlanta.
Sounds like something Atlanta would do.
I believe it started here in Atlanta. And they were trying to unionize. And then they were like, we want $25 an hour, essentially. That's the short end of the stick. Waffle House workers feel like they make enough money at these restaurants, at all these Waffle Houses, to be able to pay these people a starting wage of $25 an hour. So I'm going to say this. I had a friend who was a Waffle House GM in 2016 or 2017. They were making roughly $45,000 a year plus bonuses, which could be additional, maybe like 10 to 12 grand. 2017, that was okay chunk of change. You were doing okay if you were a single adult, no kids, no other like huge debts or whatever. Right. Today, the range that GM is still making is not much more.
I believe it.
It's been 7+ years since that has happened. So it just really baffles me how, first of all, I've never appreciated the argument of, well, I make this much at this job and they want 25. So you agree you don't make as much as you should be making.
Right.
So you don't want anybody else making the same amount because you feel like you should be making more than them.
Right.
You also don't make it more. So I'm just like, that's so that's the whole. It's like the argument of, well, XYZ got away with it, so why are we persecuting this? Two wrongs don't make it right. Just because something is not happening on one end doesn't mean it doesn't need to happen on the other end. Just because this goes back to the original argument of, like, when the writers went on strike and people were like, well, what about teachers? And what? Yeah, y'all niggas should be on strike too. Like, but you can't get mad at us because we unionized and decided, oh, we know what we're worth. We're all gonna strike. Y'all gotta come together. Now, granted, there's gonna be a couple of crabs in the barrel. There are gonna be some people who are gonna not take it lightly, and they're gonna keep working, and that's their prerogative. But if it's enough of you all, like these Waffle House workers, I say go for it. Now, be careful if you want to be the one to incite it, because I'm gonna tell you from personal experience, I've seen this on my own accord as being the leader, and I've seen it with other people too. When you want to start a queue, it's all just, yeah, rah, 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 down with the people, down with the sickness.
Just for you to be out there by yourself. We've all been there.
Until the boss walks in.
And everyone is like, what's the problem?
And everybody's like, we're fine.
Okay,
Everything's fine.
Everything's good.
Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, so just make sure the people who you riding with really, really are serious about what they want to happen. So shout out to y'all. I hope y'all get what y'all deserve, because Waffle House is not no easy feat. As someone who has worked in the industry, the restaurant industry, retail, all that, restaurant work is not easy. It's like, it's grunt bearing, feet hurting work. And yeah, a lot of people do go through that. You know, nurses are on their feet all day. A lot of workers are on their feet all day. But like, the amount of things that certain restaurants expect you to be able to do on a consistent basis, like, a lot of restaurants, you are your own busser, you're your own dishwasher, you're doing all these things while serving, while making sure you're getting the orders right, running the food. A lot of these places, and Waffle House is one of those places. If you ever go into a Waffle House, you don't normally see more than 3 people working at a time. That's with 1 person in there or 100 people in there. And I've seen both scenarios. Mm-hmm. So, and then they're doing to-go orders, and now they have online orders, and just, it's a lot more work on them, and they're not getting paid anymore, and I just don't think that's fair. And hopefully they get what they want.
$2,000 for a livable wage, really.
$25, honestly. To be fair, I don't know what $25 will equal out to in a year. Maybe 32,000, maybe. $25
$52,000.
52,000. Oh, carry 52,000. I feel like.
I mean, it's not the most extravagant life, but it's better than.
I think if you get
cheaper.
I think if you get up and you clock into work 40 hours a week, you should be able to go home and be able to safely pay rent, buy groceries, pay your bills, put gas in your car, and pay your utilities. Like, at the bare minimum. Have transportation. Like, I don't think that is unacceptable to ask of somebody. So, our hearts are with you all, and we're hoping to hear more. I think that this writer's strike, which I had a feeling was going to do this, is starting to show people, like, these people have the money, and it's just up to you to tell them whether you're going to accept the wages they pay you or not, which comes with the territory when you work for somebody else, right? But that doesn't mean people have to take advantage of you. So
exactly.
Yes.
I will say the other part about it that I love is the fact that they're asking for security.
Oh.
That's the best part about the whole thing. Like, yes, get your money, but also they said we also need security detail.
I think what happened, and this is the downside for me of social media, when people see things, they run with it. So I think because Waffle House employee, you got to be a skilled martial artist. You got to know how to fight.
Jackie Chan.
All this has been going around social media for so long. People are going in there intentionally messing with them now and intentionally doing things. We knew Waffle House was not for. Let me say this: I've never felt unsafe going in a Waffle House. I'll say that. Like, I've never been like, oh, it's 2 a.m. Probably shouldn't go in. And I've been to probably every Waffle House in Atlanta at this point. So I wouldn't say it's a dangerous place. Yes, there have been fights that have broken out. We've seen things outside of the Waffle House that didn't even make it inside of the Waffle House.
And did.
So I'm not saying those things don't happen, but I think social media very much so heightened it, and it made people feel like, oh, I can use this as content.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go ahead, like the people licking the ice cream and all these people pulling pranks on people. I just feel like that's what happened, and now they're probably dealing with a lot more than they used to in the past. So yeah, they probably do need security.
I agree. I mean, I think it's hilarious that a breakfast place needs security, but listen.
I mean, the library has security.
Do what you got to do. It makes more job opportunities. So.
If a library can have security, then a Waffle House, most certainly something that's open 24 hours a day, can have a security guard
Truly
monitoring the premises. Like, let's be clear. So, anywho, I don't know if you saw, but our queen, Angela Bassett, did the thing.
As she always does.
She did a nice little runway walk for the Mugler show in Paris.
Ooh.
Yes, she looked stunning.
I'm sure she did. I didn't see the pictures, but I'm sure she looked great.
Yes, I just, I can't wait. I'm hoping as I excel in this creative career and my personal life and my personal career as well with capitalism, that I can get to that point where I could just, I feel like all the people we grew up with are at a point now they're just doing what they want to do. And people want them to do it. Snoop Dogg's doing what he wants to do. Angela Bassett's doing what she wants to do. I feel like at this point, Tracy Ellis Ross is like doing what she wants to do. Like all these people have put in the work and the time. And times are changing now too, where it's like, you don't necessarily have to be an official runway model to get put in a show, right? But yes, she looked amazing. Paris Hilton was also there in the Mugler show as well. I love Paris, but if you get a chance to see her actual video, I'm gonna say that's not hot. She, have you ever had to go outside real quick to get the groceries out of the car for your mom, so you just grab whatever shoes at the door? They may fit, they may not fit. They may be heels, they may be flats. Okay. That's what she looked like walking down the runway. So, girl, I love you, but I'm not sure what that was about. Yes, in other Black excellence news, the Obamas celebrated 31 years of marriage.
Congratulations.
So happy anniversary
Michelle and Barack. Love that. 31.
31 years. They're about as old as I am. They've been married longer
That's
than I've been alive.
How old is Obama? Like 50 something? 60
No,
something?
he was...
No?
He was 40 something when he got in office. That was 10 years ago. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, maybe in his 50s now.
So, most of his life. Wow.
Most of his life.
Shout out to them.
Yeah, they got together in college. So, I don't take that as a small feat, especially when you hear things like Michelle breaking down the fact that they went through periods where they didn't really like each other and stuff. So, kudos to them. And I feel like, and she said this in her book too, if you ever want to read it, she does the audio version of it as well. I'm just going to say it's a read. That's all I can say about it. But it's good. It's good information. But she says that the basis, for the most part, is a mutual respect founded on friendship that aids their relationship to be able to continue. So, I'm just saying, y'all just be out here trying to meet people and not really wanting to know them and become friends. But the Obamas are telling you that if you want 31 years of marriage, be somebody's friend.
Be somebody's friend. If there's anyone I'm taking relationship advice from, it's probably going to be the Obamas.
I feel
Michelle
like
keeps it real.
She does.
I remember one interview, she was just like, I gotta be honest, there was a time where I didn't really love my husband, and he was driving me fucking crazy.
She said for a solid 10 years she did not like Barack. But they were raising these kids, and how can you not love him because you see him being a good dad, but then you don't like him because he's getting on your nerves? And it's very real. She said
she stuck beside him.
She did. She talked about how Obama used to smoke cigarettes when they first met. She was like, that's not gonna fly with me.
Not gonna work over here, partner.
That's a nasty habit. You're gonna have to drop it. So I do wish the show with Viola Davis could have continued, First Lady, because that was about Michelle Obama. They just talked about Jackie O. They went all the way back to Roosevelt, I believe. And if it weren't for it was actually great acting. It was just, I don't know if you remember people harping on the mouth thing with her. And I mean, to be fair, if you look at Michelle's interviews and stuff, she got it right. That's just not something we wanted to see. It's like the Kerry Washington face. But Kerry Washington's just been doing it this whole time. So we just are like used to it. But I wish that could have gone because it talked a little bit about their life too. But you can read the book if you want to know a little bit more about them. Speaking of, we just talked about Paris Hilton, but let's talk about Paris burning due to bed bugs.
So I saw that this morning. Wasn't it already burning from Revolution? Like, aren't they revolting? Like, what happened to that? Because of the what was it? I almost said the graduation age, not that. The adult graduation, retirement age. Weren't they still revolting from that?
I don't know if there were as many riots as there had made it to the U.S. I mean, I'm sure in their news they are talking more about it than over here, but apparently the bed bugs were big enough to make it to American news. So, let me ask, and this is not to say you're dirty, because some people, bed bugs can honestly...
No, I've never had bed bugs.
Okay, because Las Vegas is dealing with bed bugs too right now. Like a lot of hotels are dealing with because all they have to do is hitch from one person to the next. I feel like
I don't know how bed bugs actually work. I feel like that's probably how it does work. But no,
I feel like it's like lice.
Never had lice either. Luckily I've never had bed bugs. Never in my own home. That would never happen.
It make you itch.
It is making me itch actually thinking about it. And even when it comes to hotels, I'm very particular about where I'll stay. In fact, I got a hotel a little while ago, and the way I scoured those reviews for at least 30 minutes to find any mention of bed bug.
I do too.
I don't do the bugs.
But I'm feeling like if they're in Vegas and now they're in Paris, is this like a uprising? Are the bed bugs saying we're the new roach?
We thought it was going to be the murder hornets, but turns out it's the bed bugs.
It's the bed bugs. I don't know. I have to take a trip to Vegas soon, and I'm hoping
you leave that right where it is.
I'm at a really nice hotel, 4.5 or 5 stars, but
I be disinfecting now.
It's
I bring a whole disinfectant spray with me when I go traveling.
It's just like you just don't know. I think about it all the time because I travel a lot, but it's just like I'm hearing about it so much more. It just used to be so uncommon. I don't know. Maybe it's people stemming. I don't know what's happening.
Bed bugs seem to be
I don't even know how bed bugs are birthed. Like how do they start? How did they make it to the first bed? What was the first bed they ever were a bug on? And why the bed? Why was the bed this is good? This carpenter bugs that wood.
This is it.
How do they...
Opulence.
I don't know. It's weird. I just pray I've never had bed bugs either. I hope to goodness that I never experienced them. I dated somebody one time and they told me they had bed bugs and I didn't come to their house for 3 months.
Immediate breakup. Don't even talk to me.
I didn't come to the house for 3 months.
What do you mean you haven't at the house? The hotel's one thing,
and they were
but
nowhere near my bedroom for that 3 months as well because it could have hitched a ride with you.
Your home? Absolutely not. Like I said, a hotel's one thing. You don't have much control over that, but your house?
The house too. That's what I'm saying. Where did they? Because this person wasn't dirty.
I'm good.
So I don't know. I just do not understand how they work. Somebody, if you know how bed bugs actually work and what causes them for me, it kind of similar to a mouse or a rat getting in. Sometimes a rat can get in and you're not necessarily dirty. It just got in.
Don't die.
Got in through the walls. It could have come in through anywhere.
No. I'm good.
I don't know. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and head into our topic of the week. It's been a while since we deep dived headfirst into you all's juicy business. So we're going to do some Reddit festivals today. You all know the vibes. Went through Reddit, found some juicy conversations, some very particular questions, and we're going to give unsolicited advice because that's what we do. And I don't care. You don't have to listen to it if you don't want.
Let's go ahead and hop in then.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to go ahead and get it started today. So my first one comes from a 25-year-old female, and she says, my friend, 25, They're both 25. But anyway, my friend, 25 female, and her boyfriend, 36 male, involved me in their kink without my consent.
What? How do you do that? Okay, go on.
Mary and I have been friends for 3.5
Mary's
years.
a fake name, by the way. I just want you to know that.
Probably. I mean, it openly says Mary, so she may be actually saying, Mary girl.
Mary.
You? Okay, Mar. So, Mary and I have been friends for about 3.5 years. Okay. And 2 years ago, she did something that made me feel extremely disgusted and violated. Before the incident happened, Mary and I would get together every few weeks, and we usually get stuck up in the same routine. We go to dinner, then hang out at her place, watch a movie, and then call it a night. There was one day, she had her partner over, and the TV was playing in her apartment. We were all hanging out, just taking it easy, following our normal routine, but I noticed that they were acting a little strangely. Okay. I didn't think much of it after that and kept it pushing. Mm-hmm. The following day, Mary proceeds to tell me that she has something she wants to let me know. Mary reveals to me that she was giving her boyfriend a hand job under the blanket while watching the movies with me. Let me repeat that again. Mary disclosed to me that she was giving her boyfriend a hand job under the blanket while we were all watching movies. I had no idea this was happening, and I was totally oblivious to it. Again, I noticed that they were being a little weird, but I just laughed it off.
Right. You're not going to think that.
Apparently, this is not the first time that they have done this. Mary then reveals to me that she has done it the last 3 times that we've all hung out together. Turns out that her boyfriend has a kink for public play and potentially getting caught. So I thought it would be a good idea to try it out with me in the room. She was laughing as she told me this, and I was in complete shock as to why she would do this in the first place and why she thinks this was okay. Mm-hmm. I got really upset and chewed her out, and I'm questioning if I should continue this friendship. Mind you, this was 2 years ago. We've since resolved the issue and moved forward, but I still think about it from time to time. I still feel really disrespected and a little disgusted when I see them in person, and I'm not sure if it's too late for me to reconsider this friendship.
Wow. Oh, Murray girl.
Murray.
Okay, you're very valid in all of your feelings. I'll say that for sure. You did decide to still be friends with this person, almost 1.5 years after the fact that it happened.
Like 2 years.
Oh, yes. For 2 years past when it happened. So, that's not to say that time has to eliminate your feelings in the sense of, no, I actually reevaluated and I wasn't okay with this type of vibe. You totally have that right. You can for sure keep hanging out or keep staying with someone in a relationship and then really evaluate how you feel about the situation, because sometimes we don't in the moment. We just keep going with the flow. And you're totally okay in validating your feelings to be like, you know what, I really thought about it. I'm not cool with it. So if that's what you're going through now, that's okay. Okay, you wanted to test it out on me 3 times?
That's what they said. That was not the first time. It was the third. Apparently the third time. Or 4th time. It was the 4th time.
What my concern is the ability of this said friend to put the desires of their boyfriend over your feelings or your well-being, because that makes me feel a little like, what else would you do for them if they pushed you to do it? Because you clearly did not consider the fact that I would have taken offense to this. You laughing, girl. This is not a funny situation. Like, I find that disrespectful.
Extremely.
I feel like in no way, shape, or form should you involve me in anything against my will, whether I know it or not. Exactly. So that would be like me involving you in a credit card fraud and you don't even know it.
Exactly. Like you didn't ask for that.
Like, oh girl, I got you $10,000. Yeah, but it's fraud. I never wanted to do that. So I think you should talk to her, and I think you should tell her I found it very disrespectful And I need to know how you honestly feel. I would ask her, I need to know how you honestly feel about it today. Do you still think it's funny? Do you still think it's no big deal? Have you all done anything else that has put somebody else in a situation that's close to you in a compromising situation? I would just start evaluating all those things, and that's what I would ask her. I'd be like, how do you still feel about this today? Because this is how I feel about it. And depending on the response, that's how we move forward. If she laughed or was like thinking it's still a joke, I probably would just be like, all right, bet. And there would just be no, I would not consider, we're not friends at that point. We're not friends at the point where you thought it was okay to do that, period. But if you still thinking that was okay, because maybe you were young, you said y'all both 25.
25, yeah.
Y'all were earlier 20s. Maybe you just thought, oh, this is so cute, blah, 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 blah. Are you and that boy even still together to this day?
She actually made mention of that. They are now not together, actually.
So you were willing to jeopardize the friendship that you... See, no. I'm going to tell you right now, girl, you already done set the precedent because you done let her know that that's okay. And so this ain't going to be the last time she overstep a line with you. I'm going to just keep it real.
That's kind of right in with it as far as like... And the main reason I brought it up... Well, okay, there's two reasons I brought it up. One, because it is wild and y'all have no home training at all whatsoever. But the other side of it was... I think it is important to kind of talk about, people's minds change. What someone might feel one way about something one day, and then after some processing time, maybe an hour, a couple minutes, 2 years, their mood might change, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You can, as you grow and and
we
mature,
do a lot of suppressing because we care about people.
Right. Suppressing things, and as you grow and mature and stuff like that, you might look back and be like, the way A, B, C, and D treated me, I really wasn't messing with that. Like, I shouldn't have allowed that to be a thing. So I don't think you're wrong in the sense of, bringing it back up, or if it's coming back up and is bothering you or causing you some discomfort. There's nothing particularly wrong with that. Do I think the statute of limitations on your friend's side of might be a little up, where she might look at you sideways and be like, girl, this was so long ago, like, why are you bringing this up now?
She may.
Which, I mean, I'm not gonna say it's fair. It's a understandable reaction, especially if you haven't brought it up in the past 2 years. It's like, okay, I thought we were chill, like I thought you were good. It's been 2 years and you're bringing it up now for some reason. But I'm not saying that's also the right answer. I'm saying it's an understandable answer or response, but it's not the right response.
I would preface it by saying, like, listen, I know we haven't talked about this in a long time, but I just want you to know I've been thinking a lot about it, and this side.
I wasn't with that. And then as far as like the level of disrespect overall, because and this applies to more than just this conversation. I see it on social media. It's like people really don't look holistically about how like things affect other people. It may be like a prank or
the consequences. You just
whatever.
Don't. It really
like,
is crazy.
You don't think about the consequences. You don't think how it's going to affect other people. You don't
see the whole picture.
It's just like, oh, I'm doing it for me, and fuck with everybody else. Which is not good friendship behavior, obviously.
Absolutely not.
But yeah, that whole letter was just a little wild to me.
You were young, so like I said, it could have been. Maybe she's not the same person.
The prefrontal cortex wasn't cortexing.
You could honestly be asking this question because she is now in a new relationship, and you are worried about what could potentially happen again. Y'all should have went to a park. Yeah, you evaluate why you kept her in your life, girl. Really sit down with yourself and think about why you decided to still be friends with her and why this is bothering you now, and then have a conversation. Best of luck to you, and not Holy Mary. Okay, so we got one that says, this is weird, I don't know if these people are whatever. My best girlfriend is 45 years old and dating a 35-year-old guy with a 5-year-old daughter. She has 2 teenagers from 2 different men. The teenagers once told me they can't accept that she is dating a younger guy and have decided to go live with their respective fathers until she figures it out. She tells me in return that this is a great relationship and her kids are only acting as teenagers looking for some freedom and some time away from her. I know it's not true, but I can't keep my mouth shut longer as she keeps bragging about this new guy who I found to be immature and how her kids are unconsiderate. Or, I guess that's what you meant to spell. Should I say something? And if so, should I say something and so what to not hurt her feelings? Oh, should I say something? And if so, what should I say to not hurt her feelings?
Give me the people in this again. So you have the 45-year-old woman
who has a best friend, female best friend.
Okay, she's a female best friend.
The 45-year-old woman is dating a 35-year-old guy, and who has a 5-year-old daughter. The 45-year-old woman has 2 teenage sons, and the 2 teenage sons do not approve of it. They've told the friend this. They went to go live with their dads because they have 2 different fathers. Because they don't.
Okay. All right. We're on. Okay. Cool. So there was a lot of moving parts in that one. Girl, why is it any of your business? Let's start with that, girl. No offense, but after them kids, that's not your problem. That's not your relationship. That ain't your kids. That's an internal family affair. That ain't got nothing to do with you. Ain't got shit to do with you, girl. If the kids want to go live with Papa because they're the same age as the boyfriend or whatever, not go off. I mean, that's none of your business, really, because who am I to tell you, hey, girl, so like, the reason your kids don't want to stay with you is because they don't like that you cradle rob that boy who's 10 years younger than you. Which, side note, 10 years isn't really like
it's not a lot, but it depends. For me, I look at it at like phases of life. At 45, you may be in a completely different space than somebody who's 35.
That's fair. Yeah. I mean, that's fair. And also, I mean, 45 and 35, I guess, like, is a little different than like 35 and 25.
I mean, you ask all the white men out here, they'll start cradling you at 16 and marry you when you turn 18. I mean, that white also includes Marcus Houston.
Black men, men.
Yeah.
Women, everybody. Well, anyway, so honestly, that's kind of where I stand on it, girl. That's none of your business. I mean, sure, you might want to look out for your homegirl, but also like, so you tell your friend, hey, your kids aren't living with you because they don't like your boyfriend. What is she supposed to do with that information? What is she gonna do? What's she supposed to do?
She's supposed to be honest with her, like if you had children and they came to me and told me something intimate like that, you wouldn't want me to tell you that? Like, hey, I know, they kind of feel a little bad about talking to you about it, but this is what they confided in me about.
So, okay, as a parent, sure, I guess I would want to know that, my kids are feeling some type of way. Yeah. But as a childless person who is still a little bit on the younger side, I also am kind of in the mindset of like, that's a conversation between you and them kids. They told you in confidence. They didn't tell you so you can go tell mama, hey, Douglas and Chad don't like that you're dating, Bradley, and they think it's a little weird that he's just a little older than it. So, I mean,
I don't really know. So it's multiple facets with me to this. It sounds like the friend also doesn't like the guy. She feels like because she put in quotations, she feels like she found him immature.
Right.
So I think it's just like, I have for me, blended families matter in the point of, no, you can't please everybody, but I feel like children do have to be considered highly when you do these kinds of scenarios. Now, yes, mama got to have a life too, Jody. But when your kids are younger and they're still under your care, you do have to consider like how this affects them, because you don't know which way this can steer them. If they feel like, okay, you're choosing, and they didn't say anything, but they still could be internally feeling like, oh, you made a choice to choose this man over me or whatever. So I feel like I think as a friend, if I had a friend whose teenagers told me that, and I say teenagers loosely in the sense, I'm thinking like young teens. I'm not thinking like 18, 19. If they're like in a sense of where they're a little bit more older, they're starting to make their way in life, that's kind of a different story. I mean, they're still susceptible to being affected by the decisions their parents make. Mm-hmm. But if we're talking about 13, 14, like these vital coming of age years, or the start of the coming of age, I may tell my friend, like, hey, I know it seems like they moved out of nowhere, but they're actually kind of feeling this way. So maybe just have a conversation with them. Like, I'm not telling you to break up with such and such, but maybe just like let them know that they're still number one, or they're this or they're that. I also feel like it's a sticky situation because I feel like those kids would have reacted the same way to any man. If they're going to react that way to their mother dating, 45 and 35 in my book isn't a substantial change in the sense of like, at 35 you're a little bit you're establishing yourself. 45 you may be a little bit more established, but mentally, you know, you're not like 21 and 39 or 21 and 31. Like, where at 21 I may have still be in college and I'm just about to graduate, right. And at 31 you're in your career. Like, we're kind of on the same playing field. He also has a child. The child is 5, but so he knows what it's like to be a parent. Hopefully he's taking care of the kid. Yeah, I think it's none of your business in the sense of who that woman chooses to date. I agree with that. If she gonna date that man, she gonna date him. There's nothing really you can do about it. That's an adult and I'm a grown woman. Like, I do whatever I want. Like, she's going to date that man, but if you do feel strongly about the sense, like, I feel like she should know this, you can tell that about her sons and leave it at that. Don't put none of your personal, find him to be immature too and blah, blah, blah sense into it. This is what your sons feel like.
Your kid's got a good point because he...
Okay, your kids have a good point. But, kids are good, readers of people, Don't be throwing that in there. Just keep
it about the kids, girl, not you.
It's about the children. If it's going to be about the kids, be about them kids. If it's not, pull them on eat. Fuck them kids, fuck you too. So yes, girl, I thought that was pretty interesting because I have had friends who have dated people that I didn't necessarily feel like were appropriate for them in the sense of where they wanted to go in life. That's not my choice, and it's not my concern in the sense of I can tell you, like, I can ask you, like, are you sure? Okay, you feel like this, like, what do you? Right. And then you tell me, okay, well, you're going to make your decision. So.
I mean, like I said, I sound on the toes of that's a family affair.
You don't want to be outside the club, girl, looking in. Because let me tell you something, at 45, that woman may cut you off if you try to make her choose.
Like, oh, well, if you and them kids.
Okay. She may, y'all all y'all out. Because I got my 35-year-old.
I got my mans and another kid. Okay.
I got a chance to start over.
Okay. Ungrateful ass kids.
Best of luck to you.
Best of luck to you. All right, moving right into our next one. This one is titled, Should I Give My Friend an Ultimatum?
Oh, no, not ultimatums.
I have a friend that's dating this guy who treats her like literal trash.
Oh, God. What's up with y'all choosing people?
I keep telling her to leave him, but she acts like she can't live without him. Her self-esteem is so low, and she's so codependent that she's allowing him to get away with so much disrespect. I was in her situation a few years ago, but I found the courage to leave my abuser and build my self-esteem back up through many years of therapy. Sometimes when she tells me what he does, it's triggering to me to a point of shaking and crying. I also want to be friends with strong women who know their value because I put up with half of this. I also want to be friends with strong women who know their value because I wouldn't put up with half the stuff she's going through. I feel that I've come a long way working on myself and growing, and I don't want to regress back to where I was because of her drama and unwillingness to realize her worth. I feel that we are who we surround ourselves with. So my question is, should I give her the ultimatum to either leave him or remain friends with me? Otherwise, if she were to pick him, I do believe I would need to start distancing myself from her. And does that make me a bad person?
Okay, first of all, if she picks him, you ain't got to distance yourself. She already chose the ultimatum. You said this is the ultimatum.
Is it me or you?
Okay, you can exit stage, but that's neither here nor there. We'll get to that.
We need to define ultimatum.
Okay, let's define ultimatum. So I'm gonna say this: I do not think an ultimatum is a good idea. This is why. Well, if she's speaking from a point of this is abuse, she should know what it feels like to be in that situation, to have your mind so tangled up that you can't see the light. Mm-hmm. So you say you want to be around strong women, and I get that, and I applaud you for getting out. It's not an easy thing, but don't forget where you came from, and don't forget that you were once not the strong woman in the group. Mm-hmm. So like, it's okay for you to say, man, I care about you, but being around you is so triggering. I feel like I'm regressing in this strength that I need to distance myself. That's one thing to say. Mm-hmm. To be like, I just have to like step away from you. I want to support you, and I'm going to do the best that I can while still taking care of myself. But I'm not going to give you an ultimate. Think about when you were at your lowest point with your abuser. If somebody would have gave you the ultimatum, would you have chosen that person, or would you have stayed with that man? Mm-hmm. That's not that easy to just snap out of it and be like, hey girl, now, right? Right, hey girl, I'm your best friend. Like, did you not see Destiny's Child bum rush Kelly Rowland in that cafe because they knew she was one girl? We can tell you been crying and you needed somebody, and she was still sitting there like, no girl, I'm just trying to order some shrimp and grits. What you talking about? Like, you can't. It's a tricky slope for me, because not a tricky slope, but I feel like there's so much that happens in abuse where you kind of want to like move on, in a sense of like, you don't forget it completely, but it's just like, I don't want to be that person anymore. So I want to distance myself as far as possible from it. Mm-hmm. But you cannot forget what it was like mentally to be there at one point. So if you truly do want to be this woman's friend, and you want to be there for her, and thinking about the people who were there for you in your lowest moments and what they had to deal with, if you can mentally take it, continue to be there to support her. If you cannot mentally take it, remove yourself from the situation. Because all that ultimatum's going to do is make her feel more than less than. She already doesn't feel like she has anything to offer. If you make her feel like she has to choose, regardless of the choice she makes, she's going to feel like it's wrong. Because her mind is not all the way there. So if she chooses you, it's going to take her some time to get over that man. And we don't even know the situation. Like, physically, can she get away from him? I don't know if it's domestic violence. Like, maybe you need to connect her with whoever helped you. Or maybe you need to connect her with, if you have a support group that you talk to, like a survivors group or a domestic violence group. Maybe connect her with some of those women and some of those survivors, and they could be of assistance. I liken it to the fact of, if you're a recovering alcoholic, you have to be at a certain level in your recovery to then be a sponsor for someone else. They don't just throw you. You can't just become a sponsor just because you haven't had a drink in a year or two. So if you feel like you're in recovery and you can't be a sponsor at this point, either remove yourself or put her. I would suggest, if you can, the first option would be to put her into contact with someone who can be her sponsor, for lack of better terms, and remove yourself. But if you can't do that, you have to take care of yourself first. And that is just the bottom line. And if mentally it is crumbling you and, you know, you're to the point of tears, this is also showing that you're still at steps in getting over what you went through as well. So you may just have to do what you got to do for yourself, but do not give that woman an ultimatum. That is not the right choice.
Yeah, no, it's a really delicate situation. But I agree. The ultimatum was probably the least beneficial / effective way to handle the situation. It is kind of like it's a weird like lose-lose situation, because like, you want to distance yourself from the person, but you probably still care about them and worry about their like well-being and like what happens if you're not there, or like, are they going to be okay if I'm gone? And you have to deal with like that guilt and weight of dealing with the fact that like, I did it for my mental health, but like, is it going to cause you more mental anguish to like step away and not know what's going on? So you have to kind of like do that little mental shuffle.
Like,
and then the flip side of, if you just stick with it, you know, how is it kind of triggering you and things like that. So it is a weird, like, I'm not going to say, I don't want to say lose, because there is a way out. There is always a way out. There's always a somewhere to go. There's always some route to wherever the case may be. Especially in these situations. I know it can be really difficult for people to think of an out, or it's going to come to an end, or there's a way there's a way out when it'll happen, if it's possible, and
in
things
the
like
thick
that.
of it, someone's going to feel like they're getting the short end of the stick. That's just the bottom line.
Right,
but
someone,
hopefully if the right decision is made, that will subside eventually. But
I agree. Yeah, I mean, ultimatum not a good idea for sure. I think, you know, you can sit down with this person. I mean, of course, the results will vary. You know, I am very lucky myself to not have been in a situation where I experienced domestic abuse, but I have been around people who have. So I know these kind of conversations can be a little difficult, and depending where the person is and how how open they are to receiving like this kind of information and stuff like that can be kind of hard. But sitting down with the person and be like, hey girl, I care about you. I'm noticing A, B, C, and D. This is how it's affecting me. And like, I want to be here for you, but you know, it's really hard for me to be here for you. I would love to connect you with some resources that help me. And,
absolutely.
you know, and at that point, I'm not saying it's kind of like doing like a quiet ultimatum in a sense of like,
it's out of my hands.
It's out of your hands. Like put the ball in their court, do what you can. And then
I can't come drag you out.
Right. I mean, you could try, but
they could just go back. I mean, it happens. Like you just can't. I've known domestic violence situations, or I've known abuse situations. I mean, not use DV because abuse is not just hitting or physical abuse. But I've known abuse scenarios where people's own family couldn't talk them out of it. Their own mom, their dad, their siblings, like best friends too. So.
It's a delicate situation.
It's a delicate, and you're acknowledging that this person's self-esteem is very, very low at this point. So you giving them ultimatum isn't gonna be a light bulb in their head to be like, "Ding, I'm worth like $1 million bucks." Right. Like I get it. Like it's not a flip the switch kind of situation. Like you said, it's very delicate, and at the end of the day, you do need to do what you need to do to protect yourself mentally. But I think oftentimes, how do I say this? Oftentimes, stuff can be hard in the moment and then get easier. So it could be difficult hearing about it now. But if you really feel like it is taking you to a dark place, like you're dreaming about this, you're thinking about it, you're just like, I can't be around this, versus like, oh, hearing about this reminds me of my own story and I'm in tears, but 5 minutes after I walk out the door, I'm okay.
Right.
That's a different scenario. Like you have to weigh these options and like think about it in a total picture. Like you can't just take bits and pieces and be like, well, you know, I feel like this, or I want to do this, or but I want to be there. So.
And actually, another reason I brought up this particular one was because of towards the end where she talked about like her therapy journey and like where she was and like where she is now. And I'm guilty of this as well. And I feel like a lot of people are also a little guilty of this, is when you start that therapy journey and you start healing and the pieces start to click and the puzzle starts to make more sense and it becomes easier, because therapy does become easier over time. It's like riding a bike.
If you do the work,
right,
for sure.
You stumble a few times in the beginning, you know, but eventually you pick up on it. The work really starts to solidify and really lock itself in, and you can start feeling the changes and you can start seeing the changes and stuff. Similar to like working out or going to the gym, where I think people who are in it or have experienced it, they can sometimes lose a bit of that empathy for people on the other side, where not so much that you forget where you came from, but because you kind of feel like you are in a good rhythm and that you feel pretty good about, you know, where you've grown and stuff like that, that you can kind of lose a little bit of empathy in the sense of like, well, I did it, like I got out, or I lost this weight, or I got through my anxiety, like you should be able to do it too and stuff. And I think it's really important for those of us who are doing a lot of that growing and whatnot to still be a bit empathetic to where the journey starts, because if you pull back to the beginning, that shit wasn't easy. That is really hard. That's what I'm saying. Don't forget. That's why I'm happy you brought it up, that, you know, point as far as, you know, don't forget where you came from. Like I said, it's a lot easier said than done. Like you're over the hump, you're on the other side of the fence now, so it's easy to be like, girl, just make the jump, you're good. Back then, I'm sure you were terrified to make that jump, to leave whoever
People
it was.
People were probably telling you, girl,
you gotta go, and you're like, oh, you know, whatever. So like maybe working out, going to therapy, dealing with people, whatever the case, having that shitty job, you know, have a bit of empathy. Don't forget where you came from. We've not saying everyone's dealt with the same amount of stuff, but try to remember where you came from as far as your struggles, and try to be a little empathetic with that.
Please don't.
So it's also just want to little asterisk that as well. I'm also 100% protect your peace, all that great stuff, but I'm gonna need y'all to reel it back just a little bit, because protect your peace now is certain. I'm gonna cut my mom off. I'm gonna cut my cat off. I'm gonna cut the mailman off. Okay, everybody off.
Come on, now you
can't cut everybody off. Some people are gonna do things that upset you. Sometimes your friend's going to annoy you. Sometimes someone's gonna It doesn't mean you need to cut them off just because your best friend, accidentally kicked you, or I don't know. Just because your best friend accidentally didn't buy you Chick-fil-A, and my best friend doesn't care about me. They're so inconsiderate.
I gotta protect my peace.
It's such a one-sided. I gotta protect my peace. Now you got no friends. So I'm gonna need y'all to really evaluate what you're protecting yourself from, because eventually you ain't gonna have no one in your lives because you want to protect your peace so badly. Now you ain't got plans on Friday night because everybody's toxic. Everybody's the problem, but me. Everybody's the problem but me. So, like I said, let's put that little asterisk out there. Y'all really need the cutoff game. Y'all need to use it right. Y'all used it wrong.
You are really using it wrong. You cutting everybody off, and that's not what they meant. This is my last point about that. I'm glad you brought up therapy in that sense. That's a great point about being empathetic when you go through the journey. But also, too, we have taken these therapy sessions and terms and tried to apply them to other people's lives.
The TikTok therapist
and it's not a monolith. It's not linear. Like, everybody's therapy journey is different. So I will never forget, I had a really good friend at the time, and they started going to therapy, and they just started throwing the word boundaries out there.
Got to.
Left and right. And I was like, you do not know what that word means.
Listen.
Like, one of their boundaries had to do with them trying to say, this is what I like from you. And I was like, that's not a boundary. You're telling me what to do. And the boundary has to do with what you are going to accept from me as a person. You can't put a boundary on me and call that a boundary.
This boundary is actually a command.
Okay. We got to stop. TikTok.
Like, I'm all down for mental health awareness and going to therapy, but please
stop. Y'all
are not licensed professionals.
You are not.
Neither are we.
And we preface by saying we are not licensed professionals. I mean, and let's be clear, like, I'm not even saying that I have anything remotely close to a therapist, but I have 6+ years in the game of studying this on a collegiate level, as well as having done internship. So, like, and I still would never consider myself on the level of someone who has put thousands of hours in study and internship and, shadowing, plus the hundreds of hours in schoolwork and hundreds of hours into studying for these multiple licenses. Like, I would never liken myself, not until I get to that point. So
people be watching 3 TikToks and be like, I know TikTok all about mental health.
And be like, you know what? I have the answer.
Okay.
I've got it. Eureka.
Okay. That's it.
Like, girl, just look in the mirror and tell yourself,
you're pretty.
This is a sidebar, because this made me think about, there's a person, a publishing company. Well, it's one woman, I believe, but she guises as a publishing company. She sells really popular books, but just started selling the shadow book work.
Please leave me alone.
And that book, please stop.
Please.
Before you conjure something that you don't want to conjure in that mirror.
The shadow work book.
Stop it. Leave the shadow book alone. Shadow book work. The subconscious, please stop talking about it, because y'all are really, it's a bright and sunny day. Y'all sitting in the park, filling out your shadow book work journal with a mirror on the ground, looking at yourself, talking to you. Please stop.
Go to therapy.
See a licensed professional who can help you with your problems, okay? Because, baby, there is not enough positive talk in the world to your younger self that's still going to undo what has been done to you. So, let's be clear. That's the one of the two.
Truly.
Okay, best of luck to you, girl. Kudos to you on getting out, and don't forget the people that you leave behind when you go up. Okay, so we have, would you loan money to someone who always pays you back, plus they pay back almost 50% extra? I have this friend who occasionally will loan me a few bucks when I need it. I always, capital, pay him back, and I always pay him back his money plus extra. For example, the other day he loaned me $10, and I paid him back $25 a day early. Today, I asked him if he could float me a 20, and I said I would pay it back tomorrow afternoon plus extra, and he sends me a text that says, I'm not doing you any favors by helping you. By helping you, it just perpetuates the cycle. Can anyone tell me what the hell he means by that? I don't even think you can call it a favor because he would be making money off of it. It's really more like an opportunity for him, but whatever. I just would like to know an outside thought, please.
Ooh, okay. So, a few things. So, first off, I don't know how your money works, where literally the next day you can come up with that plus more. I don't really know how that works per se. Like, how am I giving you 20 and then you're gonna turn around and give me 45 tomorrow? Why not just wait till the 45 tomorrow?
Why do you need it today so bad?
Right. Like, if I okay, like, are you hungry? Like, did you not eat? Because I've been there before. You ain't got no money. You already overdrafted the account. The Chime card loan only gave you $15 because you only make $50,000 a year. The Chime is up. Your negative balance. The cards I get it. I've been there where I literally was like, I need $20 to buy like gas and like some fries from McDonald's. But I also can't say I was able to just flip it back the very next day and more. So I don't really know like what this person's gaining from it. And as far as the friend goes, I don't see why they wouldn't loan the person the money, in the sense of like they are going to get it back and they are going to get more, and they have the track record of doing that. There is a good track record. I know among our friend groups there's been times where we've given each other things, and it's like I know your character, girl. I know you're going to give it back. Don't even worry about it. I know where you live. I know where you sleep. So it is what it is. I'll get it back when I get it back. I will say, I get to an extent where he's coming from, as far as I don't want it to be a pattern, or I don't want it to become a behavior. It could come from a point of stinginess. I'll admit, when I have said something similar to someone before, because I had a similar experience with someone who consistently was like, can I borrow some money? Can I borrow some money? And they would pay it back. But it does come a point in time where you're like, okay, listen, like, what are you doing with your money that you consistently have to ask me for money? It's not like it's like my business per se, knowing how you're spending your money. Like, I'm not your parent, but you're involving me in a sense of like, if you're going to continue asking me for money, at some point I'm going to be like, okay, yo, like, are you okay? Like, what's the problem? And I understand not wanting to be I don't want to call it scapegoat. That's not the right word. You don't want to be the enabler in the sense of what happens if I don't have the money to give it to you, or what happens if I'm not around anymore, or whatever the case may be. Like, are you going to go hungry? Are you in debt with someone and you're going to get in trouble and you're going to get hurt or something like that? So like, you don't want to enable someone. I also, like I said, I get it from a kind of a stingy point as well, because there was a point in time where like I was being a little stingy and I was like, I don't want to give you, I guess I have the money in my bank account, but I don't want to give it to you. It's my money. I work for it. I'm tired of giving you money. Even though you're going to pay it back in like 2 weeks, I'm tired of giving you money. So I get it. Like, it just depends on, I guess, the person's like character. I guess I'm a stingy person sometimes. I'll take that L. But from a more logical standpoint, I think it just comes from like a point of just like not wanting to enable this person, wanting to be. And I also say, it also depends on your relationship with this person. Like, if y'all are best friends and y'all talk all the time or whatever, that's one thing. But if you only hit this person up when you need something, when you need, hey, can I borrow $20 from you? Can I get a ride from work or whatever? That's completely different, because they could just feel like they're being taken advantage of. Like,
even
you only text me
when,
even if I do get more money, or you just texting me because I'm going to be the first one to slag you $20 on Apple Cash. So there's a few nuances to it. I don't think your friend's a bad person for telling you no. I mean, ultimately, that's their money. They don't have to give it to you. And if it's that easy for you to make money, just go make money.
You needed it right.
If you can make double what they're giving to you, just go do it.
If you would just wait, and then you would have double, and then you wouldn't need to. Yeah, I agree with all that. I think because the friend texts back, like, it will just perpetuate the cycle. I think they're thinking in their mind, like, this is enough. Like, it's been months of this. or
Right.
however long. Yeah, I get a little extra coin back, but that's not what I
the
want
point,
from you,
right.
especially as a friend. Like, I would definitely want to understand why your money management is. As someone who is going to have millions of dollars one day, I need to be able to trust that the people around me have good money management.
Millions with plural.
Yes.
Plural S. Millions.
We will be millionaires, all of us. So, I need to trust that you all can be good with your money. And like, if you're like is a situation where it's like every other day, and then you come back with double, like, why? Where's
the double coming from?
Did you borrow for somebody else, and then you're just like robbing Peter to pay Paul?
What was it? The Animaniacs episode about that, where they kept borrowing stuff from each other,
and they would just cycling it around. It's just like, I don't know. It's a very confusing situation.
It's giving sketchy. I don't know how I feel about it.
It's giving sketch, because just wait the day. If you were going to say, let me borrow $20 today and I'm going to pay you back double tomorrow, just wait.
You're losing money. This is why you in this cycle, because you keep giving more than you need to give them back what you borrow.
I'm having
and
ice
maybe
for
you'll
dinner.
have some money.
I'm having ice for dinner.
Sleep for dinner. I'll just wait till the direct deposit hits.
Wait till the next day, and then I will go get Waffle House.
You got to double the money. See, this is why the cycle continues.
It's not making sense. And this is like,
you can find something in that pantry. I know you can find a little pack of oatmeal or something. Put some city tap water. Okay, some city punch water in there. Get a little thing of butter, and you got some oatmeal.
And as a friend, you do care about people and the choices that they make. And I would probably, I have been in a situation before, been a couple, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, especially like if you're seeing this person like going out, it's partying and doing. I've been in situations where people were like buying new clothes, and I'm just like, 2 + 2 is not equaling 4, because
it's giving tilapia.
It's tilapia, because I just don't understand what's happening. So I think it does depend on how close you are, and even still, that still doesn't. The only differences in the closeness is if it is just an acquaintance, they don't owe you anything. So. And then if it's a best friend, you should understand that they care about what's happening, and they want to understand why you can't get your money management together. So at the end of the day, it's still not either one of their responsibilities. Is on you. So, did he say he needs to ask? Yeah. If you're thinking about it, he said it's really, I don't even think you can call it a favor, because it's more of really of an opportunity for them to, since they're making money on it. Coming from that standpoint, it lets me know that you just not getting it. Like, and y'all on 2 different communication wavelengths, and I would just suggest not asking that person to borrow any more money. Because it's not going to end well. They've already said no, so don't ask again. I mean, I guess unless it's like dire,
right?
Like, I'm about to get kicked out, or
which I mean, $20 isn't really gonna save you at this point. I mean, what is $20 gonna get you? If you're, I don't get it.
It's giving fiend. It's giving you have an addiction.
It gotta be, because where is the double come? Because again, it doesn't. I'm confused if you're getting. It would be one thing if it was like, oh, I'm giving them back the same amount I'm getting. I'd be like, okay. Maybe it's a bill thing. Maybe it's like the pay period just hits when whatever the bills come out, and I don't want to get the overdraft fee or whatever. But you're giving them back more than they gave you. So if you would start giving them back more, in a
small amount of time,
maybe in a small amount of time, like a day. So like, what is happening on that day that is so important? It doesn't matter. I just don't get it. I'm Confucian. I have Confucian.
That's our answer.
Good luck to you.
Good luck.
Good luck to you. Good luck to you. All right. So, next question. Oop, there it is. Sorry. Living with my best friend is ruining my life and our friendship.
Oh no.
And this probably can be a conversation later down the line about living with your friends. I don't have any experience with that, but I know you have some experience with that. So, but anyway, I digress. So this person wrote, so this would happen. So
I hate when they say, so this is what happened. Like, don't just start.
Okay. So what just happened is that my friend asked me to move out. She had just bought a new house in March and asked me to move in with her in June. I thought this would be a good idea because I'd help her pay her mortgage and I'd save up money for my own home. You know, I scratch your back, you scratch, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. We also set up all the house rules and expectations. Love that. You know, that's really cool. Rules, boundaries, using boundaries correctly. So anyway, fast forward barely 2 months later and she wants me out. Capital O-U-T. I'm so incredibly angry at her and I don't know how to deal with it. It was so time consuming and expensive to move in with her, not to mention giving up my apartment that allowed me to have 3 cats and was reasonably affordable for the area I lived in.
Had to get rid of her cats? Let's say it.
She didn't necessarily specify. I mean, I'm reading between the lines. I'm going to assume that she probably had to get rid of her 3 cats. Or maybe it was just such a good find that they allowed her to have 3 cats. Because, you know, sometimes it's like one pet, whatever. So yeah, long story short, the apartment was cheap and nice and all that stuff like that. And now the friend wants her to move out. What gets me most is the reason she has for wanting me to leave is so petty. She told me the nail in the coffin was last night. The sound of the dryer going off woke her up and she was unable to go back to sleep before her 12-hour shift at the hospital. I believe I'm a good roommate. I'm clean. I'm respectable. I'm quiet. And yeah, all that great, wonderful stuff. She was listening to like different things about she's a good roommate. So now I have that money all saved up is going to the first and last month's security. I feel like I didn't get very far living with my friend and that this ultimately was a bad idea. Should I end the friendship with her over this situation or am I overreacting? I'll put my few cents in real quick because like I said, I've never lived with a friend. I don't have any interest in living with my friends. I mean, I've had, okay, that's not true. I used to have interest in living with my friends because I wanted to have that, you know, close roommate friend experience where like, you know, we're close and we're watching TV and we're doing all the fun roommate stuff and like, oh, I'm running to the store. You want to come with me? Sure. Let's do a Target, whatever run or, you know, stupid stuff like that. Same way people kind of like romanticize like the college experience, you know, because like, oh my God, I want to have a roommate and it'll be so much fun and we'll do all the things together and blah, blah, blah. Don't want that anymore. Now that I live by myself, now that I live with people again, I'm just like, I want to live by myself. So I get like, you know, you had your nice little setup and how annoying it is to be, you know, give up that setup. You had a whole plan with your friend, you know. It sounds like it was a long-term plan, you know, saving up for a house.
Was how long you were going to stay. That should have been in the contract.
You know, you know, it sounded like it was all set up nice and smooth and y'all thought about all the ins and outs and stuff like that. And ultimately it didn't work out. Of course, you know, she says the nail in the coffin was you apparently using the dryer in the middle of the night. I don't know if she's talking about like the clothes dryer or like the hair dryer or whatever.
It was probably the clothes dryer.
Probably.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that justifies a get the hell out of my house offense.
I mean, it's a nail in the coffin, so what built up?
Right, what built up with it is my question. So here's the thing. I'm going to play devil's advocate. I think your friend is a little shady, and it sounds like there was a little bit more to this than meets the eye. Maybe been them 3 cats. Maybe that hair dryer really was really loud.
They had before.
Right. That being said, I don't think you're particularly the bad person in this situation. I think if I'm going to be devil's advocate and be nice, it sounds like it's just one of the situations where you're like, you moved in, she realized she does not want to live with you, or it just wasn't a good idea, or she prefers living by herself, or whatever the case may be, and now she's asking you to leave. Is that nice? Not so much nice. Is that...
Sound like she used your money to buy her bedroom furniture.
Oh! And that, okay.
And now she's like, oh, you gotta go.
You know, it's definitely inconvenient and definitely like, what the fuck, girl? Like, I just, you know, shifted around my entire life and my expectations as far as the future goes. Because again, it sounds like you got a plan, save it for your own house. So like, this throws a wrench in that and all the other stuff. But I don't know what it's like to live with friends, so I don't know how aggravating or not aggravating it really is. So I don't know if she's just like being petty. I don't know if it really is like, oh my God, this is awful. You got to go.
It's a lot of moving parts. As someone who has lived with multiple friends and experiences where I would be like, oh, I wouldn't live with this person again. I've never once thought I don't even want to, like, it's never been a situation of like, get the hell out, or like, oh my God, I gotta get out of Dodge per se. Like, unless it's a situation where I feel like I'm imposing. Mm-hmm. So then it's like, oh, let me just get myself together or whatever. But I've had several homes, apartments, whatever, with friends. Well, I say that. Well, I've had roommates. Some of them were friends, some of them weren't. I mean, I'm thinking about all my living experiences. Honestly, I've only had 4 or 5 different places I've lived outside of my childhood home. 2 of them were with friends. Yeah. So 2 of them were with friends, and it's a tricky situation because I am someone who looks at someone's like general character and how they are in real life before I decide to live with them. So if you kind of sneaky, if you do all these things, I'm not gonna probably live with you because that's not gonna really fly with me. And not to say that like it's more to living with someone than just like noise and mess and all of that jazz. Mm-hmm. So I have lived with a friend who was a little messy, and their mess for the most part would be contained to their bedroom, but sometimes it would creep its way into like the kitchen or the living room area, and mama don't like that. I don't like mess at all.
You about the roommate that tried to kill you?
Yes.
The same one? Okay.
Yes, gotcha. It's the same one. Multiple times tried to murder me. Murder. To this day. Yeah, and I knew that they were messy. However, this is what happened. I knew that they were messy because they had lived on their own, had seen their place, but they would always like keep the kitchen and stuff clean. Mm-hmm. But you don't take it to the account. That's probably just because you were coming over.
Right. Had to make the house look good.
So after a few conversations, it was fine. I was like, okay, can we just agree like this is the cadence? Like if you do a really huge meal, pack the dishwasher before you go to sleep, or like when you wake up in the morning. Mm-hmm. Like don't let me wake up and need to make eggs and it's like dishes everywhere. Right. And that was fine. After we had that conversation, I don't have to look in your room. When you open the door, did it having perhaps
not a,
but that's not none of my business because the door stays closed. So and it didn't like bring bugs or anything in, so that was fine. And then like I've never had a bad experience. There was one friend who wholeheartedly wanted to live together, and I knew I could not live with them. And I was just like, this will end our friendship if we ever live under the same roof. It will end, and I just cannot do it.
I've been there. So I was like, oh, let's live together. I'm like,
it's not gonna work. This is what I will say. The girl that owns the house is very shady, because you don't say, oh, come live with me, knowing this woman has to uproot her entire life to move into your home, and you knew it was your home. This is what I don't like. I don't like the now it's mine conversation when we agreed that for this time being it would be our space. Mm-hmm. Don't throw the get the hell out of my house now.
Okay. This is I'm on the mortgage. You're not. Get out.
Unless it's a situation where, you know, I've disrespected you. Maybe I said something out of line, or, you know, I'm bringing people to the house and not saying, you know, those kind of things where it's just like, all right, I understand that we're doing a co-op living space, but my name's still in the mortgage, like respect that kind of deal. Mm-hmm. But the dryer going off in the middle, and I get
the clothes dryer was just like and that was it.
It could be loud. Don't get me wrong. I have heard some very loud dryers that have woke me up out of my sleep. Did I say I got to get the hell out of Dodge because I have to work in 2 hours for 8 hours? No. Now, nurse, 12 hours. Maybe you a little on edge. You're tired. Maybe this is your 4th of 7 shifts. Okay, I know that sometimes y'all rotate, and it could, maybe you just irritable, and you just been irritable, and you haven't said anything, and you needed to snap. Yeah. So I would say maybe ask her, like, what has been the build up to this? Like, what have I been doing? I can do better. You know, this was the agreement. I really feel taken aback that you're asking me to leave when you know we both had to make compromises for this, and I don't feel like it's okay. Now, honestly, technically, if she's getting mail there, she can stay.
Was it like squatters' rights or something?
Mm-hmm. If it's been 30 days and she's been getting mail there, it's her house too now, girl.
So
no matter whose name is on the lease.
So like,
now I'm not telling you to be petty. I'm just telling you, I wouldn't rush.
Let me say this. Okay, I have 2 cents on that because I saw a TikTok about this. It was this girl who, similar situation. Friend moved in for X amount of time or whatever to pretty much help her get on her feet or whatever. Friend moved in, super sloppy or whatever, gross, all that stuff. But the friend, the one that she was staying with was being, really understanding because the friend was going through a lot and wanted to help the friend, best friends, all that stuff. So she's like, you little girl, you can come live with me, for X amount of time. Just respect my place and then all that stuff. I'll help you find a place. So old girl goes on vacation. I think the Vegas, actually, funny enough. So she goes to Bedbugs. But before she leaves, she's like, yo, girl, I'm leaving for the week. When I come back, I just want to make sure my place is clean. Because she had a few, the friend had a few stuff like out and about before she left. She's like, hey, girl, when I come back, be back in a week. Just make sure my stuff is, nice and prim when I get back. So she leaves. You had a week. She comes back. Place is worse than when she left it. 10 times worse than when she left it.
Man.
So she's like, X and so, girl, you gotta go. I told you if my place wasn't clean when I got back, it was gonna be a problem, and it's worse than it was. And old girl was just like, I ain't going nowhere. And they were tit for tat, yelled left and right. And the way she was like, girl, I got squatters' rights. I get mail here and stuff like that. And I looked it up because I didn't know this was a thing. I looked it up, squatters' rights. That apparently is true. If you are receiving mail and you've been there for a certain period of time, you are legally allowed to stay there. Mm-hmm. I don't care what the law says. If my name is on the mortgage, if my name is on the lease, and I tell you to get out, you will be removed.
I mean, you can physically remove them. You just, the cops can't really do anything about it.
Someone will be removing you. It may be me. It may be Loki. It may be the cops. It may be my cousin who isn't actually my cousin. But you will be removed.
Call it on up.
Let me tell you.
Ski. For real. I personally probably wouldn't be that petty. I would leave. Obviously, I don't want to stay anywhere that I'm not welcome. That's just me. I get it. Everybody's situation is different. You got to find a new place. Again, I would have a conversation with her. I would just ask, what was this build up? I get that you're tired. What can we do to make it work? Okay, you feel like we can't make it work. Can you give me 2 months to find a place to live? Can you give me 3 months? However long you think you need to find a place. Can you give me X amount of time to try and find a new place? Since I was so willing to help you as a friend, can you not help me as a friend?
Okay, and apartments aren't cheap like they used to. She might have had a long-term rental and they got her in on the cheap rate.
If she say no, off the rip, we ain't friends no more. Because clearly you ain't got no compassion.
At all.
Now, if it's a situation where you all are able to come to resolve, I would say have a conversation about okay, we're going to be friends and we're going to say this is how we're going to communicate with each other. You have to be open with me. You have to tell me if something's getting on your nerves. You have to be able to communicate with me in a way before it's a build up. And then I just get this bomb dropped on me because I was trying to wash my uniform before I had to go to work the next day. When I've lived with people in situations where now this is different from that squatters thing because that person just needed a favor to move in. They both agreed that you would move in. She would save money. She would be able to help with the mortgage, even though you just paid for her Ashley's home furniture set for her living room and her bedroom, and then she got that, and now she just wants she gone. But in situations where with the squatting thing, I just don't want to be a problem. I'm already naturally a neat person anyway. Why you gotta come in busting up somebody's space? You just have to read the room, especially if they're asking you. There are some people who don't say anything and you're just let me just try my best to not be in the way. But if somebody's bruh, can you clean this up before I come back? You got a week, and then I come back and it's worse. Mm-hmm. No bueno. So girl, ask her what the issues are. If you all can resolve them, if you can come up with some new house rules, because clearly the ones you had were either being broken
after 9
or they weren't effective. quiet hours from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. Whatever
time.
I
don't want to hear you breathe.
Okay.
Walk, blink, nothing. I don't want to pretend you don't need to exist between the hours of 9 and 9.
Who does love being by themselves and living by themselves. You should have thought about that before you invited this girl into your home. Like,
that part.
If you are used to living by yourself and you just were like, this seems cool, I'll get some help with the mortgage, but didn't really think about the fact that I actually have to share my space with another breathing, living human being who walks, who uses the dryer, who uses the bathroom, who cooks, who cleans, who watches television, who has to work, who will be in and out of the house. Like, you got to think about those things before you invite somebody into your space. So
right. Yeah, that's why I think it's a good conversation to have about like living with friends. Because Bobby's gonna get a whole episode, but I think it is just people get so eager and excited. They think the same dynamic is gonna exist. Like, oh, we're best friends. Like, we be we have such a good time when I go over there.
Especially if you spend a lot of time together.
You haven't spent so much time together. Like, oh yeah, it'd be like that, but living together, but it'd be so much cooler because like we're just right there next to each other. It's not, at least from what I know and what I've been told. People tell me all the time, like, don't live with your best friend. Just don't do it. I mean, some people can do it. I'm looking at it happening right now, but more often than not, it's probably best to just try to avoid that.
Just depending on the right. people for sure, and like the personalities and how they mesh and who they are. You knew this girl. I'm sure you've talked to her on the phone before, and the dryer went off in the middle of the night, and you're like, she likes to do laundry in the middle of the night, but you just didn't think it was gonna affect you. Anywho, we want to do one more each, or
sounds good.
Okay. I'm trying to decide on which one. I'll do this one because we've done a lot of boyfriend stuff this episode. Okay, this person asks how to interact with a friend who thinks you're still close when you don't feel the same. I have a friend who I was really close with in the past, best of friends. I think she feels we have the same closest now and are still best friends, but I just don't consider us that close anymore. This friendship has lacked effort unless it's convenient for her, and I've expressed how her lack of effort and care has hurt me. I don't want any drama or to get into one of those conversations again, as I feel I've given her enough opportunities to repair the friendship. And at this point, I just want to be friends from a distance, maybe get lunch and catch up every once in a while, but nothing more. I know she will be confused and taken aback if she feels I am creating distance. I guess I just don't know how to respond to the miss you text and I would love to see you text and things when I just don't feel it anymore without it eventually turning into, hey, is something wrong kind of thing. My mom became terminally ill at the end of last year, and so much has been put into perspective. I barely had support or any genuine interactions with this friend that I just want to focus my energy on friendships I do feel supported and seen by. How would you interact with a friend who thinks you is still their best friend and wanting to be close?
Okay, hold on. So there's a few things with this. So first off, to the person who wrote the letter, it sounds like you still want to be friends with them too. Because if you didn't want to be friends, yeah, you're just like, oh yeah, I'm still interested in going to get like lunch. Okay, demote her friend. Because it sounds like she's like, I want her to be my best friend, but I don't want her to be my best friend.
No, she said maybe just get lunch and catch up every once in a while.
Either you're in or you're out. There's no halfway in, halfway. Either you're in or you're out.
Sometimes.
So anyway, like I said, that demotion don't make no sense. She was just like, well, I want her to be my friend, but like I don't want to be my friend. Like, we're still gonna hang out. Like, no, you can't. Either in or you're out. Anyway, this ultimately just boils down to you need to speak your truth, girl, and stick to it. If speaking your truth equals, hey, I don't like the way you move, and I feel like this is one-sided, and I don't feel supported or loved or whatever the case may be, and I think it's just best for me to surround myself with people who can give me that. Didn't say that. I mean, will it hurt that person's feelings? Maybe. I'm not going to say 100% it will. It may not hurt their feelings. Maybe like, you know what, girl, you got a point. I ain't shit. Who knows what their reaction will be, but ultimately, like, their feelings aren't really your concern. You know, it's about how you feel. You know, if you feel like this isn't a good friendship and they're not putting forth the effort, but like, you know, Sarah can really knock back some margaritas and we have a good time on Taco Tuesday. So you want to make her Taco Tuesday, buddy? I mean, go for it.
That's
but
what
you
it sounds
need
like,
to.
but it don't sound like Sarah gonna go for that.
You need to make it honest. You express like, hey, this is where I'm feeling. This is where I'm coming from, and you know, let the other person adjust as they see fit. If they think like, oh yeah, you know, I'm cool with just being casual friends, and you know, occasionally we go to trivia nights, and that's it. That's fine. It works for both of you, cool. But at the same time, if they're like, not also feeling that, you know, and they step away, that's perfectly fine. I mean, if anything, it just opens up some more room for you to let some people in your life that you currently want. Because ultimately, if you just avoid it, eventually the conversation probably will come up where they're like, "Hey, I've noticed as you're distancing yourself. Why is that?" At the same time, if your friend is as accurate as you say they are, in a sense of, you know, they're a little distant and like, you know, whatever the case may be, the conversation may never come up. They may never ask. They may be like, "Oh, well, I don't really care." But it sounds like for a moment, it sounds like. And I don't know what the particular order of events were, but it sounds like they were having this behavior. You expressed that you didn't like it a few different times, and now you're finally taking a few steps back, and now they're catching on, and now they're trying to pull you back and trying to be that better friend. The ship's already sailed, girl. So when it comes to you, really, you gotta
sail horn that they do on the boats where you miss it.
Okay, the cruise is gone. We said we were leaving at 3:00. We left at 3:00.
It's 3:01.
It's 3:01. The cruise is halfway into the Atlantic Ocean already. If you are already on the way out and you're gonna easily be swayed back to being best friend buddy, after they, you know, showed a little bit of effort, you better stand 10 toes down on it. But otherwise, I would say you need to stand 10 toes down on your decision to leave, because otherwise, if you go back on your word, they're going to be like, "Oh, well, that was easy.
This is cool.
Okay, cool. That little bit of effort. Okay, I texted them good morning once, and they're back in my arms." So if you need to stand 10 toes down on your decision to move away from that friendship, and it's up to you if you feel like you want to have that conversation about this is why I'm doing it, and you know, it's too late, sweetie, gotta go. Cool, but. You know, you're not obligated to do that. You already spoke your truth, it sounds like, as far as like, hey, you know, you're being...
Give them one more courtesy message.
One more courtesy message and let them know their services will be cut off.
We're done.
But, yeah, I mean, ultimately that boils down to communication. And, I mean, I don't think there's a wrong or right way. It just depends on what kind of conversations you want to have.
This is true. I would say... Yeah, it does seem like the conversation has already been had, that this person hasn't been supportive, or... Guess you said, yeah, you don't want any drama or to get in one of those conversations again. You've given enough opportunities to repair the friendship. It sounds like one of those, I've told this man I'm not interested, and he keeps saying good morning beautiful, and you don't want that. Just leave me alone. But maybe if you see him out, y'all can hang out at the bar, but don't text me good morning beautiful. So it's just like, I do think the nail in the coffin again for this girl was her mother becoming terminally ill. And then if I've had the conversation with you and I still feel unsupported and you're still not doing what you need to do, this is putting into perspective that you just aren't someone who can be there for me on the best friend level. I have had situations where I had to come to the realization that this person is no longer my best friend. Like, we were able to support one another in these realms at one point, but now that's no longer the case. It did ultimately end in the friendship in totality. I was this girl, like, hey, we can just hang out, you know, every now and then catch up. And that person just wasn't okay with that. And I had to respect that decision. I made my decision. They made theirs. So you're going to have to make your decision, girl, and let this person make theirs. If you've already had the conversation and you don't want to do it again, I would say the next message I send them, or the next time I talk to them, would be the, hey, this is just not working for me conversation. I do not feel like this friendship is supportive, and it's not, I'm in a space in my life where I just need people that I can depend on, and you are not one of those people right now. Maybe you will become that again in the future. Maybe you've never been that at all, this whole friendship. But regardless, right now, I'm making a decision, and like Malik said, stand 10 toes down. this is my decision. There's nothing you can do to change it. I'm not saying you're a bad person. You're just not somebody that I want in my life.
Right.
So.
And this is different than we said earlier about how people go to therapy and they want to do the cutoff. It sounds like they were doing slow
work,
E. They were trying their best.
They were communicating that this was not working for them.
That's enough. Y'all be easy to cut off and don't even communicate. They'll be
like,
why are we talking anymore? Okay.
They drunk the rest of my orange juice and didn't
cut
say
them off.
Nothing.
I heard meanwhile they putting on Reddit like, I went to my best friend's house the other day and orange juice and they haven't talked to me all week. I don't know what happened. So use your cutoffs wisely, but definitely communicate. Communicate.
I'm sorry about your mother. That's very sad to hear, and that is a point in your life where you can have a huge epiphany about what matters in life for sure. Do not let it falter or fall to the wayside, because sometimes when we encounter those kind of moments, we do have these moments of epiphany and like life is short. And going back to the COVID and the pandemic, everybody was like, life is short, and then that whole phrase is just out of their minds now. Don't let it fall to the wayside, girl. Continue to keep what's important to you, and don't feel bad because someone you consider your best friend is no longer your best friend. It sucks, but you have to do what's best for you and have people around who also have your best interest in mind, because if you're going to have someone's best interest in mind, you want that person to have the same dynamic and feeling towards you. So best of luck to you. Have that conversation, and yep. All right. Take us on home, Mickey.
Yes. So go ahead and wrap us up here today with a little bit of wedding scandal.
Here we go with the weddings again.
How do I respond to not being asked to be in my close friend's wedding?
Ooh.
How personally should I take not being invited to my friend's wedding, as well as not being asked to be in the wedding party? For some context.
Wait, did you say not invited and not being in it?
Yeah.
Oh.
So they weren't, not only were they not invited, not only were they not a part of the wedding, they also were not invited to the wedding.
Okay.
So for some context, I'm a 25-year-old male, and I have a close male friend that I've known since I was 16. His name is Hank. Hank is getting married to Amy. Amy's maid of honor is Christy. Christy was my girlfriend from 2015 to 2020, at which point she broke up with me after cheating on me with a close friend / roommate. Ooh. It was a really, really dark time for me, and I was extremely depressed from 2020 to 2022, weren't we all? Despite all of this, Hank and I remain close, and I have always been very cordial with Amy. Hank never consoled or offered any kind of emotional support regarding what happened, but we still hang out pretty frequently. If I were getting married, Hank probably would be my groomsman, probably my best man as well. I am not invited to the wedding. All of our mutual friends are invited, even those whom I introduced to Hank, and I feel really bad. Am I not invited simply because Christy is the maid of honor? Is this a topic even appropriate? To question Hank about? I have no idea if there is still beef of any sort between myself and this couple, and I'm taking it very personally. I'm considering not hanging around Hank anymore because of this. Please give me some advice. So TLDR, this man is friends with Hank. Hank is marrying Amy. Amy is good friends with Christy, and this man used to date Christy, and now they no longer date, and now he is not invited to the wedding, and he also is not in the wedding party.
Wow. So many scandalous layers of this lasagna.
Not this lasagna. Remember when Raven-Symoné was Liz Onion?
Remember? She was like, this is a superstar.
Like, okay. What is her name? Liz
Anya.
And then later she was just like, all right, play something and make it funky. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun.
That was a good show.
Good times.
Raven-Symoné, you gave us some gold. Man, this is tough because I do feel like, and don't wait like super, super close to the wedding. Like if the wedding's tomorrow or the day after to have this conversation, like have it as soon as possible. I would just ask Hank what the deal is. Like, hey, are you not inviting me because your wife to be's maid of honor is my ex-girlfriend and there was some tension there and you just, had to give that fight up to keep the peace? There's a certain level of understanding you can have if you know the truth and you have like the full story behind it. I would say I hope it's not a situation where we just read where Hank is your best friend, but you're not Hank's best friend. That could also be in if you don't want to have that awkward conversation of like, you're not my best friend. But yeah, have the conversation, just ask them, because I would say for me, I won't lie and say I wouldn't feel some kind of way if I felt like my best friend didn't invite me because my ex was going to be in the wedding party of their future spouse and their future spouse said something. I would have been like, there was no way for y'all to come to a compromise. I mean, Christy or whatever her name is going to be in the wedding, like, I couldn't even get an invite to the wedding, like to just be in the audience to celebrate y'all love and union. But I also get the fact that these people are entering marriage and that's just a different realm. And it's just like, you don't know the compromises that have to be made. And not to say that one is right or wrong. Hank is just setting the precedence for whatever choice his wife to be wanted to make. That's going to be how the marriage goes. So he's going to have to deal with that.
You said happy wife, happy life.
Exactly. So... And a lot of times guys are just really not that invested into the wedding. So he may have just felt like you wouldn't have even cared, honestly. Like he may have been like, oh, it's just a wedding. Like guys don't even really like going to weddings. Like,
all right, it's not a big deal.
He could have just been thinking it's not a big deal. So that's why I'm saying have the conversation first before you jump to any kind of conclusions, and then choose your stance from there. If it is a situation where he's like, yeah, man, like, she just didn't want, she thought it was going to be awkward and, it's the wedding and she's just super excited about it. Then it could be like, I mean, it sucks. I kind of feel bad about that, bro. I am your best friend. Is this going to keep me from coming to a baby shower? Am I not going to be able to be around your children and all this, because that's her best friend. So am I never going to be able to be a part of major life instances for you as a family man again? Are we just gonna always hang out as bros without me ever being around your family again? Because life is going to go on. So you also have to think about that. If it's a situation where this girl's best friend is always going to make it seem like I don't want this person around, and you've already set the precedent that as the husband that's okay, it's not going to change
right
as time goes on. So you also need to like consider that if you're going to be considering this your best friend. Because I would beg to say, if I can't be a part of your most memorable moments in life, then we're not best friends.
Truly not. Okay.
Like, not a situation where I just couldn't make something, but just never being invited. No. And then, first of all, that's petty, girl. You cheated on him. You don't want him there? And you ended it. It's okay. You. Hi, you're the problem. It's you. Like, this man went into depression. He can't be at his best friend's wedding because you feel some kind of way about it. Because you feel like the picture's gonna get messed up or something like that. Right. Like, that's kind of
that's the part that's wild to me on both sides. This ain't your day and this is not her day. Like, I don't understand why any of this beef is even coming up. Like, that's my best friend. He's coming to my wedding. That's your girl, Christy. Yeah, they used to have a thing, but that ain't got nothing to do with the price of tea in China.
And he didn't even have to be the groom. He didn't have to be the, what do you call him?
Groomsman, I guess.
Who's the best man? He didn't have to be the best man. They didn't have to walk down the aisle together. He could have just been a groomsman in the back.
Right.
But you don't even want him there. It's just so many layers to that. Like, I feel like a conversation is definitely needed to understand more, because when you first started, I was going to say, oh, congratulations, because weddings are expensive. I've been in a lot of weddings, and it's not cheap. So you don't have to buy a tux. You don't have to do all this. You don't have to take off work or do travel or whatever. So kudos to you. You're fine. But then it unfolded, and that was just yikes. I'm so sorry. Yeah, my advice would just be to have the conversation, because you're just not going to understand, and you're going to run yourself rampant. It's better to find out now if this is going to be an issue moving forward, versus you thinking, oh, this was just one off, and then things just keep happening, and now you're like, that's not even my best friend, bro.
Right. Yeah, I agree, honestly. Because who is Christy and why is she making decisions? For
Why
this
is
couple?
she making decisions as the maid of honor?
Okay, it's not her wedding. It's not like she was marrying the guy she cheated on him with, or cheated on you with.
They're probably not even still together.
Truly.
Or maybe they are, and that's why she don't want him to come.
This is why
it'd be
people don't invite me to weddings. Don't invite me to no
But
motherfucking
this is
weddings.
just like, that's just so messy. Weddings don't have to be. This is why I'm having a destination wedding. I don't have time for
And
this.
that's the way you're supposed to do it. If you don't want drama,
I
then have a
don't
destination
time for
wedding.
this. Like, y'all are
Oh,
crazy.
you can't make it? You can't get off work? Oh, I'll miss you. Here's the registry, though. Okay.
You can send a gift.
You can send a gift to the
yeah,
location.
to our new house. Thank you so
Preach.
much. Love you so much. Yeah, bro. You could always crash it too, but you didn't hear that from me. Anywho, we're gonna end with our friendship quote of the day. I'm gonna just do this one. I tried to research some of the top Reddit quotes of all time. And this was maybe like number 3 or 4. I can't remember.
Okay.
If you stick a knife in my back 9 inches and pull it out 6 inches, there's no progress. If you pull it out all the way, that's not progress. The progress is healing the wound that the blow made. And they won't even admit the knife is in there. We're still trying to heal the wound. Malcolm X.
I love that. Actually, I think I saw that quote actually very recently, but
It's been floating around Reddit as like the top quote for like 7 years.
I love it.
So yep.
Watch out for your backstabbing hoes in your life.
Okay, that's what these are giving. All y'all some backstabbers. They smile in your face all the time. They want to take your place. Yeah, so that is our episode this week. You know where to find us. We are on all social platforms at Funny Podcast. That's at FUNIPODCAST. That's on Twitter. That's on X. I don't know. Twitter. That's on Instagram. It's on the Ticker They Talk. And you can also find us at Friendship University Podcast at gmail.com. Spill the beans. Sending your friendship shout outs. The holidays are coming up. Maybe you ain't got no money to buy your friend a gift. Maybe their birthday's coming up. Send a shout out as their gift so they can hear their name on the airways and they can play it for their parents and their parents can think that they're somebody special. We're here. We just love to hear from you. So all of the information will be in the description box below. And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.